Alright, David Harry here, and this is my YouTube channel update for the month of July in the year 2020. So what I'm going to do in this video is try my best not to just keep yarning on and blabbing on about stuff and going mad. So what I've done here is I've written a loose list on this piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is try and flash through these things and just give a basic taster for what I'm going to be getting up to in July, and just discuss a couple of other little things which have kind of followed on from last month and stuff. But to start off with, a massive congratulations to Liverpool Football Club. What it is, I'm from Liverpool, as if no one's guessed that by now, and in our city we've got two teams. Now we've got a blue team, which is Everton, who happen to be one of the founding teams for the English Football League, so that's a massive honour to have in our city. But I'm a Liverpool supporter, and this week we won the league. Now the thing is, Liverpool have not won the top flight league for 30 years, so it's a massive deal. So what it is, massive congratulations to Liverpool Football Club. I think no one's going to disagree with me on this, but Jurgen Klopp absolutely has been the biggest influence for us winning anything over the last few seasons. Brilliant football team, amazingly great players, and I'm not going to pick out any one particular player because they've all done a massively great job. But a massive thank you to Jurgen for choosing Liverpool as the next team that he was going to manage, because he did amazingly at Dortmund. Anyways, so I'll just throw that one out there dead quick. Massive congratulations for Liverpool Football Club for finally winning a league title in 30 years. Now this month I will be finishing off a few things as well, and quite possibly in there will be a shave and a haircut to kick it off with. But what I'm going to be doing is revisiting a couple of things which I thought I'd lost. Like last month, I think I'd let people know that what had happened, I'd had a massive loss of data because I deleted the wrong things, which meant a whole bunch of stuff went down. Now, I managed to have retrieved some data to do with some stuff with the iPhone SE. So there's a couple of iPhone SE videos in there to do with microphone things and vlogging. Then on top of that as well, I'm also going to be finishing off a couple of videos to do with the Sony ZV1. Now I'll pause here for a second and just discuss something very quickly. Right, I bought the ZV1 and I knew full well that I probably wouldn't have taken to it as a vlogging type camera. I was already very skeptical of the field of view for a kickoff. I'd not actually quite worked out how mediocre its stabilization was. But the one thing that I didn't get hold of in my head was just how bad it was to operate in any form of manual control. It really was a pig's ear to do anything in manual control with it. Now I may do a video about that as well, just explaining my experience of how difficult the thing was. Now before anyone takes this the wrong way, I think it's a fantastic camera for pure image quality. It is fantastic, but it is not a camera to be used manually. It's just far too fiddly, and by the time you try to set up for a shot with it, the shot's gone. Do you know what I mean? So if you're looking for something automatic, pull out your pocket, point and shoot, you don't mind a restricted field of view as far as selfie vlogging is concerned, and also mediocre stabilization, it's probably a great camera for you. Anyways, what I'm going to be doing is finishing off a few videos to do with that, quite specifically with microphones and vlogging, and also along with that kind of like, you know, whole vloggy thing with portable small devices. I'm also going to be finishing off a couple of things that I did with my Samsung A95G, which is basically a cheap and like mid-priced kind of like, you know, smartphone thing and stuff like that. So I'll be doing a few things with that, but I'll also revisit that in a second with something else that I'm going to be doing. Another thing I'm going to be doing this month is getting into another PC system for myself. Now it's basically a toss-up between two things that I'm putting together as to another system which has got quite specific tasks to do. So what it is, aside from like my main system and a couple of other bits that I use around it for doing, say, video editing and music and sound and stuff like that, I do require other PCs for other jobs as well. So what I've been doing is putting together two. One of them is an Intel NUC system again. I just love these things. I think they're awesome. So there's going to be a video coming up to do with the construction of this NUC, describing what it is and whatnot, and also possibly some videos about the things that I'll be doing with it. Now, I don't know if anyone's noticed these things that I've been putting on over the last month or so to do with Phoenix OS and stuff like that, which is basically Android for PC. Now, just quickly, Android is an operating system which is normally associated with ARM-based processors or ARM-based kind of like circuitry and stuff, and that is usually phones and tablets and stuff like that. Now what it is, there's a variation of Android called Android x86, which is designed for the x86 CPU architecture or platform, which is basically anything like an Intel CPU or an AMD CPU. So I've been getting into like x86 even more through Phoenix and Dark Matter and a few other things. So hopefully I'm going to be showing some pretty neat stuff with this turned into a really cool Android gaming machine. Now, to go hand in hand with that stuff as well, I've been buying bits and pieces of storage. So this month and probably into next month as well, I will start doing some more of those kind of speed test things, so I can have loads of people give me what for in the comments because they think I don't know what I'm doing, and that's cool. But what I'm going to be doing is testing out a whole bunch of things here. So I've got myself a bunch of storage as far as like USB storage things are concerned, and the main reason for these things is, one, for storage, but two, I load operating systems and actually kind of like run operating systems off these things. So that'd be like Linux, Android and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm doing with Linux. It's just that I have a very few specific tasks which Linux is brilliant for. So what I do is live run Linux and operating systems off them. Oh, and I can't forget this either. So this is a SanDisk Extreme Pro. Now, whilst that might look like a regular USB thumb drive or flash drive, whatever you want to call them, what it is actually an SSD inside of a flash disk, as it were, or a flash stick. So what this means is that this thing can do insane transfer speeds. I'm getting anywhere between 250 to over 300 megabytes a second off one of these. I know this one's all packaged up. I actually have a 128 gig one of these. This is the 256. Now what it is, these are brilliant for doing proper storage of data on, because they can do it mega fast. And then when you're going between systems, it is unbelievably quick to transfer data, you know, using a stick and stuff. So definitely some speed test stuff to do with this, because these are off the hook, absolutely unbelievable. Now the next thing to do with storage, and hopefully something that will help me to not do what I done last month ever again, which was to delete a ton of footage inadvertently, where I basically got a ton of iPhone SE footage and basically flushed it down the toilet. Anyway, what it is, I've got myself one of these, which is a Western Digital 14 terabyte, is that in the screen? A 14 terabyte hard drive. Now this is hopefully one of two. I've got one first just to make sure that the whole thing's okay for me. Now what it is, just quickly, let me explain something about my setup and how I go about using data. What happens is, inside my computer, I have a couple of really fast SSDs. Now they're for doing all the editing and whatnot, but the thing with SSDs, they are very expensive to go like to higher amounts of storage. So what I then do is I offload that stuff away from the computer onto external drives outside the computer, and then also I will have bare drives that I push in and out of the computer. I did a couple of videos a while back about these little cage things which allow me to throw bare 3.5 inch drives in and out of the computer and stuff, and that's what I do. So what I do, I have a drawer underneath my computer which has got about, I don't know, 26 terabytes worth of storage spread across, I don't know, 6, 5, 7 whatever amount of drives. I really must count them at some point. Actually there's 8, right? So there's 8 hard drives with about 26 terabytes worth of data on them, and what I'm doing is constantly moving stuff from one drive to another, because there's drives in there like 8, 4, 2 terabytes and stuff like that. So what I've done, I thought, you know what, I'll have to just get one big 14 terabyte drive and just basically consolidate all the data onto one 14, chuck away all the stuff that I don't need. Then what I'm going to do, once I've worked out that the 14 terabytes is all cool in practice, I will then get another one and then physically do a mirror of it as well. What it is, I've used RAID and stuff loads in the past, and I've actually had some pretty bad times on redundant RAID systems where stuff went down but couldn't be retrieved. So me personally, what I do now is do physical mirroring onto 2 locations of the same data. For me personally, it's just my form of redundancy that I'm happy with, only because going back and trying to bring back a parity stripe or something off a defunct RAID set is basically, I've had too many problems. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know what that is. Now onto the whole Samsung DeX thing, and I'll keep this relatively short. I'll just do a bit of a brief over what it's all about. But the reason why I'm going to be getting into it is because I've now been using it for a few months solid, and I've got to say it is so impressive. And to be honest, it may well take over from having to use a small computer like this for certain day-to-day tasks. Now quickly, what Samsung DeX is, where's my phone? Right, there's my phone, it's all grotty. Right, so Samsung DeX is basically a Samsung feature for certain Samsung phones, right? Where what it does, when you pop the phone into something like this Samsung DeX base station, you can do it with other things as well. You can have just like a USB-C to HDMI cable, certain types will do it for you. But nonetheless, what you do, you plug the phone into a certain something, which gives it video output. Now, in the instance of this thing here, I think I've shown this on something else, or I will be showing it. This also gives you the likes of, power input. It'll give you internet through your LAN and stuff like that, so you can switch over to mega fast internet broadband if that's what you've got, and also gives you USB and things like that. So effectively what happens is your Samsung phone gets turned into a desktop computer. Now I have to say that it is absolutely mind-blowing what you can do with just a Samsung phone, because what happens is I pop it into the DeX unit, throw a keyboard mouse in. I even have, let's say, I'm not going to pick this one up, I think I might be using it for something, but basically I've got a USB audio interface to throw that in. I even put my microphone in, all kinds of stuff, and it effectively becomes like, I'd say, a low-powered desktop PC. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be rivaling like an Intel i9, or even probably it won't touch this, to be honest, as far as raw power is concerned. But what it's amazing at is if you're just doing stuff, so like web browsing, watching content, YouTube, email and social media. I mean, I don't really do social media, but any of that type of stuff, your day-to-day stuff that you would do with any PC, Samsung DeX is absolutely off the hook with it. So I'm definitely going to be covering a whole bunch of stuff to do with this now, because I've had nothing but a fantastic time with it. Now, running into this month as well, what I'm going to try and do is catch up on some of the stuff I was meant to do last month. Now, what it is, it wasn't like last month I hardly done any videos. I think I must have done about, I don't know, 16 videos last month. So that's quite a few videos in 1 month. It's just that I didn't get to do all the stuff that I wanted to do. And the main reason for that really was just because I was slowed down a little bit, because I've had to do this other stuff to do with my PC builds and things. But also on top of that, I just didn't have such a good time with that Sony ZV1, if I've got to be honest. And the thing is, there is a whole bunch of stuff on that ZV1 which it won't be going on the channel. It just isn't good enough. So I'd actually wasted days with the ZV1 doing stuff. And then when I come to doing the editing, I was kind of like, I can't really put this up, because what I didn't want to be doing was just doing like these videos where I go, well, it can't do this, it can't do this, and it can't do this. Because to be honest, some of my testing for the things that where I'm basically testing for what I would want, it's not really the same as what other people would want. So it would have been really unfair for me to just sabotage the ZV1 over and over again. I made my point clear with it as far as vlogging was concerned, but for other usage, that's entirely up to other people. Do you know what I mean? And I appreciate that. So I didn't put up a bunch of the stuff that I'd recorded anyway. So what it meant is that I've gone behind a bit. And also this month I was meant to have started on those things which I said last month about doing this ultimate kind of database of like road versus road. Now that's a project I'm so, like, what I nearly swore, that's a project that I'm like really looking forward to doing, because, it's something that I want to know as well. This thing where I said I'm going to compare all the Rode microphones and then put them all up against one another in separate videos. So in all, there's going to be something like 16 to 20 separate videos. And just to refresh this, in case no one watched the last video, or maybe I didn't explain myself so well, what it is, I've got a Rode Video Micro, a Video Mic Pro Plus, a Wireless Go, a Lavalier Go and a video mic NTG. I'm going to do videos where each and every one of them is going to be compared to the other, but I'm going to do it as one video. So there'll be one video which is Rode Video Micro versus Rode Video Mic NTG, and then the same for every variation. So it will end up to be a ton of them. Now what I'm thinking about doing is using the Hero 8 for it as well, and the reason for that is because I think the Hero 8 is, one, it's got a good mic input on it, but two, it's not a mad professional one either, so it's not like it's gonna be the very best of anything, because I've obviously got other stuff that's better than the Hero for that. So I think use the Hero as a good mid-ground camera to see or to hear exactly how all these microphones sound on it, and then do the comparison that way. Anyways, yes, boring Dave, shut up. So I'm gonna get on with that, hopefully to start it this one, because like I say, it's something that I defo want to do, because I want to know the results of this, because I've got a feeling that my favourite out of the lot of them is still going to be the Video Micro. It's not the best sounding, but I just think it's an amazing microphone. Okay, so I think that might just about sum this up then. There are a whole bunch of other things that I want to get into, but I'm trying to keep these things short. I want to do these update things, and hopefully as well using these jump cuts as a way of doing it. Now just quickly with jump cuts, yes, a jump cut, if it's not used properly, will just crash right through narrative and stuff, but there's really no narrative here, it's just chunks of things. But also you can use a jump cut right into a vowel if you want and really cut yourself off. So hopefully I've made a bit of sense here, but like I say, whole point of using a jump cut is just to keep things a bit shorter, because I do rabbit on and on and on, especially when I'm dead excited about stuff. I mean, as I'm going to do it now, as for instance this thing, I'm way more excited about this than what I led you to believe when I showed you the box, do you know what I mean? But I've got to be careful, because there's going to be a separate video all about that, so I don't want to let the cat out the bag and get all boring right now about these things. Anyways, yeah, so needless to say, this month is going to be quite computery, so because that, and the reason for that is because I'm doing a bunch of computer stuff for my own things as well. In fact, also there's a bunch of stuff there to do with protection, screen protection and cases for a few devices. I'll just throw them in as an ongoing thing. Also, what I was going to try and do was stick to a schedule this month and just do, let's see, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I was going to just try and do that this month. Actually, I'm putting 4 fingers up, 3 fingers, right? I was going to try and do that this month, but I've got to be honest, I've got a list there with 50 video ideas on. I probably can't only just do 3 videos for the month per week. So yeah, the chances are I'll probably cram a few more in. I'll see if I can do only the 3 and see if that helps to space them or do whatever. Maybe give myself a little bit more experience of understanding what goes on YouTube with some kind of like upload scheduling and stuff like that. Anyway, Dave, shut up. You're doing exactly what you said you weren't going to do, because that's why you were using jump cuts. Anywho, I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care. And goodbye now. Oh, by the way, yes, I have had a ton of coffee that was inside this cup.